Yo guys, what is up? It's your boy TRUEDBZ back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Guilty Gear Strive. So this game has been pretty on and off in terms of me experiencing and playing the game and enjoying it. There are multiple reasons, which this is why I'm making the video, but I just want to say off the bat that literally everything in this video is my opinion. It's how I felt for a while when playing the game and training in the lab and playing online matches, and these things keep poking up and it kind of just ruins the game for me. Not to say it's a bad game, I don't think it's a bad fighting game at all. I just don't think it's for me, and some mechanics in this game really doesn't fit my playstyle, or they aren't implemented in a way that I can say that I enjoy. So like I said, all this stuff is my opinion. If you enjoy the game, power to you, but this game is very it's an on and off fighting game. It's pretty easy to play it, and you know, if you're just playing, you know, just have fun, or you know, just do a little bit of execution practice or something like that, it's perfectly fine for that. But if you really want to get good and doing setups and doing, you know, pressure, Oki, stuff like that, I think this game is a little bit less than fun when partaking in stuff like that. But yeah, everything in this video is my opinion and how I feel about the game and how I've experienced it over the past couple months. It's been hard trying to fully explain why I don't really enjoy this game, you know, until I'm making this video. I just really couldn't put my finger on it, and you know, like I do with a lot of my discussion videos, I have pros and cons. So I do have pros for the game. Like I said, I don't think it's a bad fighting game. I don't think it's a bad game in general. So I will be going over the more good aspects of the game, just to make it very clear that I do not hate this game. Out of this video, if you're saying, oh, TRUEDBZ hates Guilty Gear, bro, fucking dislike him or unsubscribe or something like that. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Making it very clear that I like Guilty Gear Strive. I like the community around it. I like the tournaments. I like watching people play it. But in terms of playing the game myself, that's a whole nother thing entirely. So like I said, everything in this video is my opinion. I do enjoy the game, but in terms of it being a main fighting game for the channel and for my personal, you know, endeavors, it's just not a game that I'm really interested in now. You know, if you know, there's things I don't understand, or there's tips that you can give to me, and you know, maybe I'll look into it and see if, you know, that fixes a lot of my complaints. But I feel like most of my complaints are system based that people can't really fix. Is more just a feeling, you know, something that you just, you know, you do it and then it's like, this doesn't feel right or something's off, you know. It's just something that you can't really change unless the developers do it. So most of this stuff are things that players can't change. So, but some things are, you know, that players can change. So if there's things that I don't understand about the game, or things that I'm overthinking or underthinking, please let me know. And if I think it's worthy of exploring, then I will do so. So yeah, with that being said, guys, let's get into the pros of Guilty Gear Strive. Alright guys, starting with the pros. So I'm gonna start off with a pretty high note pro, which I'm pretty sure everybody in the community can agree with. The music of the game is freaking top tier. I've already explained my my liking of the music in my top 5 games video, but the music in this game is freaking top notch. Like, all the characters' themes are fantastic. There isn't a theme where I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty bad theme. Like every single theme is great. I wish the stages had separate themes, because having the, you know, I'm pretty sure this is like classic fighting game stuff where like the characters' themes is the stage. You know, character stages and their themes are linked. But I feel like, you know, with more modern games, you know, you can have character themes and then you can have stage themes, which I feel like the game really missed out on having separate, you know, themes for the stages. Because I feel like, you know, with the amount of music in this game, I feel like it could have needed a few more tracks, but what we got is pretty much the best, like, selection of songs, like, for a fighting game, period. Like, I haven't seen a fighting game where, like, every single theme is a banger, and it might, and I think the major reason why that is because they're actual songs rather than just soundtracks. You know, it has actual lyrics and stuff, and the lyrics are portraying the characters and their personalities if you actually read them. So it's like the actual lyrics themselves actually has meaning in the music. So that's probably why it stands out so much. But even if you're just like, you know, listening to an instrumental, it's still a good, you know, song. It's still really, really good. So, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody in the community feels that way, you know, with the music being really, really, really good. So yeah, the music is god tier. Next I want to talk about the visuals. It's probably like the third or fourth best looking fighting game I've ever played. Concretely, I can say Dragon Ball FighterZ and Skullgirls look better as fighting games than Guilty Gear. I don't know if it's just me or it's just my TV or something, but there's like this weird smearing effect when characters are just on the screen. I think when they're doing their supers and doing certain attacks, they look really, really good. But if the characters are just standing around and like just moving back and forth, the game looks really smeary, especially on certain maps. Like I think Kai's stage is like the worst example where everything looks smeared and like the models look off. Now I don't know if this is just me or it's my TV or something like that, but you know, certain instances like that can really ruin the visuals. But I think overall, like the super attacks look nice, you know, the moves look good. You know, looking at combos are really fun. So I think the visual style is really, really good, and as well the character designs are really cool. Some of the designs from older games I prefer more, like I think it's May Exard's outfit. I think her in Exard looks better than in Strive. I'm just not a fan of like the oversized jacket and shit. But you know, characters like Leo, Axel, even Kai, you know, those characters have really cool redesigns. I think the only one that I don't really like is Faust. There's so much more personality to Faust in his older iterations that now he still has personality. You know, he kind of like represents like a destroyed man. You know, he looks like he made a terrible mistake and then now he's like fucking like falling apart at the seams. You know, rather than like his goofy, like over the top self in the older games. So I think, you know, he still expresses personality, but it's like not fun personality, you know. But I mean, it's still rather unique, you know. So it's like the character designs are really cool. The only one I don't really like is Faust, and then probably like honestly like Ram, like because like Ram, honestly I don't like Ram's design in general, to be honest. I think pretty much all our iterations are like weird and just not appealing. I know some people may disagree with me on that, but I think in Strive is her best iteration, but I'm just not a fan of the overall design of Ram. And other than that, I don't really have any other characters I don't like in terms of character design. Well, actually in May too, which I talked about. So Ram, Faust, and May, Ram, and then Faust. Those are like the only three characters that I don't really like, but I can appreciate what they were going for. So yeah, visuals, character designs are good, so thumbs up. Next, I want to talk about the characters' movesets. So in playing Guilty Gear Strive, I was a May player. I did dabble in Giovanna, Milia, and Goat Lewis, like off videos and stuff, just to get a feeling for what they do and how they want to play the game. And honestly, this is probably like the game's biggest, thumbs up for me, is that every character feels unique. You know, the Gatling system and its combat is very simplistic yet, I wouldn't say simplistic yet expansive. I would say that. So, you know, every button does a certain action. There's a crouching and then an air version. So when you link them all together, you can create, you know, unique situations and combos yourselves. But with the Gatling system, which I'm going to talk about later on in this video, all the characters have different Gatlings. There are some universal ones, you know, like I'm pretty sure like going from close slash to far slash is pretty universal. I don't think there's a character that can't do it. There might be one character, but I'm pretty sure there's certain like universal Gatlings that you can do. But for the majority, all the characters have unique Gatlings, or they're shared with very few other characters. And that's also a testament to the relatively small character roster. It's not, you know, as small as like only like 8 or 12 characters, but I think the game launched with like 15, 17 or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But it did release with a good size roster. It wasn't too little, but it wasn't too much. You know, Dragon Ball released with like 25 characters at launch, and so they had to compensate with that by making literally almost everybody in the game play exactly the same, with a very few exceptions. But pretty much like 90% of the cast at the time of its release pretty much did the exact same thing. So I think Strive has a good balance where there's enough characters to where they feel unique and distinctive, but they still share enough universal stuff to where if you know, pick a main first day and then you figure out, well, this character's not really not for me, it's not a chore to say, well, I'm gonna just play another character. So I think Guilty Gear Strive really fit that in between where it's like good character variety, but also good enough to ease players in for the most part, which I'll get into that later as well. So yeah, characters feel unique and there's enough universal stuff to where it's not alienating. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to talk about is the netcode. So I also talked about this in my top 5 games video. Like I said, put that in the description below. So I talked about the netcode and its rollback, and it's fantastic. Online matches don't really lag that much. I've only ran into like 6 people that I legit could not play with throughout my entirety of Guilty Gear, which was I think I started playing it back in November or October or something like that. So it's been a couple months. So having a very few list of times where the game like straight up did not work or felt really bad to play is really, really good, because oh boy, playing Dragon Ball, that's literally like almost every single match. So it's really good that the game has good netcode. It makes it really easy to just pick up and play the game without worrying like, am I going to run into a lagger or a lag switcher, or my input's not going to come out, which will come up later. You know, stuff like that. So very good netcode. I give the developers a major thumbs up for getting this right. You know, after the, you know, backlash of Dragon Ball's netcode, you know, especially after like season 3 and stuff, where there were more characters than ever before and people wanted to play them, and with the new mechanics of assist, like, you know, limit break, special tag, people want to play the game, but you know, certain players just can't get behind that netcode, and so they just don't play the game because it's mediocre at best. So they did a really good job with Guilty Gear. I give them 2 major thumbs up for getting that right. So hopefully, you know, with Blaze Blue, both I think it's like Central Fiction or something like that, or Fiction or something like that. Both Blaze Blue titles are getting rollback soon, or I think one of them already has it, but you know, with them getting rollback, hopefully Dragon Ball can get it later on, maybe, crossing fingers. It's most likely coming in like an Ultimate Edition or a sequel or something like that. I'm not expecting Dragon Ball Fighters right now to get it, so you know, hopefully Dragon Ball can get it, just crossing fingers. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the pros of Guilty Gear, just to level the playing field, because I am gonna go into some sort of a rant, you know, with the cons, because I have a lot of them. So yeah, let's get into the cons. Alright, so let's get into the cons. So there's a lot of them, pretty much double what my pros are, but I just want to say I do like Guilty Gear. But okay, let's just get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Gatling system, or just the, I guess, just normal systems, like in general, like the punches, kicks, slash, heavy slash, dust, and I think that's all of them. So yeah, punch, kick, slash, heavy slash, and then dust. So this system is really weird to get a hang of. I think it's really not poorly explained, because the tutorial explains what all the normals do, but like they don't really like tell you how they work in conjunction with each other, which is another thing on this list I'm gonna be talking about. But I think I should just like do it all in one go, I guess. So proximity normals are a thing in Guilty Gear. So there's a slash button, which is triangle on PlayStation. I don't know what it is on Xbox. So if you press slash close to your opponent, you get a different normal than if you're far away. So people just call it close slash and then far slash. This mechanic is probably like the hardest thing. Well, not the hardest, but like the most annoying thing about this game. So most of this list is just coming from the position of playing Mei, because that's my main character. So Mei's like main plan is basically to get in with Dolphin and then abuse plus frames with her giant normals to like kill. And one of her plus frame moves is her close slash, which you can only get by being literally right in front of your opponent's face. And you know, if you played Guilty Gear, that's not very easy, you know. And the thing about Mei and the way she handles neutral and how her Dolphin works is she has two different versions, slash and then heavy slash. One is really fast, like on startup, but it leaves you negative, and then one's slow on startup but leaves you positive on block. So the thing is, you're supposed to mix these two options up. But the thing is that both Dolphins are so telegraphed by their startup that you basically know which Dolphin your opponent is using. And so if you know that they're using heavy slash, most of the time it doesn't jail into anything. So you can literally just jump out of it, or you can just counter it with 6P, since they made the hurt box of Dolphin way bigger than what it was at launch. So it's way easier to punish heavy slash Dolphin. Slash Dolphin is still pretty good. It's really fast. Like, it's probably like her fastest, well, other than like her punch and kicks, I think it's probably like her fastest move she has. But it leaves her, you know, negative on block. So all of her pressure afterwards isn't real. So her main way of getting in leaves you at a disadvantage, and even if it does leave you at an advantageous state, she doesn't have a way to get in, because yes, she's positive on Dolphin, but if you try to run up and do close slash, you don't have enough plus frames to where it actually like frame traps or anything. You will get 6P'd, or you'll just get hit by honestly any normal. So you have to commit to another normal, which most of the time I use her standing kick because it's her longest range normal with multiple options. But her kick, from a combo sense, only works with her three kick, which is a sliding move, which is a low. But if they block it, I'm at disadvantage state, if not punishable state, and if they get hit, then I set up for a safe jump. But you can just sit there and block Dolphin, and then just what is it called? Flawless defense, the kick, and so Mei just doesn't have a way to get in. So what's my point here? Basically, her close slash is practically useless unless you're trying to meaty on a wake up, which that's another thing I'm going to talk about. Is the Oki in this game is pretty much non-existent for, honestly, for a lot of characters, and I'm talking about as a Mei player. I played, like I said, I played a little bit of Milia. She has really good Oki because she has her like projectile that gives her 50/50s. Giovanna, her Oki situation is pretty much the same thing as Mei. You just want to safe jump everything and then just take advantage of the plus frames you get. And then Go Lewis is pretty much the same thing too, where you just use Behemoth Typhoon until the opponent basically dies because, you know, guard crush. So basically, a lot of the characters that I play pretty much use the same method of Oki, where you just meaty the opponent on wake up. But even at pro level, niggas just wake up throw, and I don't understand why. And there are multiple instances where I meaty, my normal comes out and hits them. Like you can actually see the attack hit them, but my hit gets grabbed? Question mark? Like I don't get it. Like I don't understand how grabs, you know, like wins against normals. Like I don't get it. Like grabs are just stupid in this game. I'm not a fan of grabs at all. Command grabs are slightly easier to deal with, but like regular throws, like bro, people just be waking up throw, and I'm like, bro, there's such a thing as meaties and safe jumps, right? But no, niggas just don't care. Just like, oh yeah, you're running up at me, you know, wake up throw. It's like, what? So Oki feels pretty much non-existent in Guilty Gear. Proximity normals are really annoying to deal with because the game pretty much tracks where your opponent is to activate which normal you want to get, right? So if you're running up as Mei and you try to meet it with close slash, but let's say you're off by several frames, right? Just like maybe like 3 or 4 frames, right? So they get up and they backdash or they jump. You'll get far slash instead of close slash. So trying to run up and meaty feels pretty much like a chore because not only is Guilty Gear not, how do I say this? Like, there are auto-timed safe jumps in this game for Mei specifically, but there are a lot more safe jumps to where you have to manually time them, and I'm pretty sure everyone has the same wake up time, so that's not something you have to deal with. But even if that wasn't the case, you still have to manually time them, which means that can lead into you messing up even if you're off by a frame or two, just getting woken up grab. Now DPs, you know, it's fine. Like if you know they want to use their DP, you know, meaties don't really. I'm pretty sure no one has like a frame 1 meaty or something like that. So, you know, getting DP'd and just waiting it out is fine for me. It's whatever. But if I get woken up grab, that's probably like the most tilting shit about Guilty Gear, is that people just wake up grab when I try to meet them or safe jump, and like the game will register that I hit them, but like they will literally just go through my normal and grab me, and that's like, it's so confusing and tilting because I don't understand how the hell this thing fucking works, like at all. So it's like, yeah, Oki feels non-existent. Proximity normals are stupid. Like, if I press the slash button, I want slash to come out, not, oh, well, you're off by 2 pixels, so you get far slash instead of close slash. Especially since close slash is like a core, like, part of Mei's, like, set play. If you mess up close slash, like, you're pretty much fucked because far slash doesn't lead into anything. You can't cancel into other normals. You can't cancel, well, you can cancel into Dolphin, but the reward you get is like pretty much non-existent. It pretty much resets the neutral. So at that point, you might as well just press far slash and then backdash just to see what the opponent does. Like, there's no point to far slash whatsoever. Like far slash is just a meaningless move. So it's like, when I get far slash after the opponent backsteps my close slash, it's so freaking tilting. Like, bro, like, can my move just does like what I want it to do? Like, there's no other normal in this game that has proximity based, like, you know, like there is no far or close kick. There's just far and close slash, and that's very, like I said, I'm a Mei player, so that's really important to my set play. And for niggas just to backdash and then I get the wrong slash, it's like, bro, like what the, like what? And then on certain safe jumps, if you know, her jump heavy slash is probably like one of her best moves. So if you try to safe jump with that move, sometimes the opponent will get knocked away by that move just a tad bit too far, and you'll get far slash instead of close slash. And like I said, you can't combo off far slash. if you get far slash, there's literally nothing you can do. Like the only move that goes into it is dolphin, and like I said, dolphin doesn't lead into any combos. So just because you're off by 2 pixels, that means you don't get anything off your reward for actually safe jumping them. So yeah, proximity normals are hell to deal with, probably one of the most annoying things about Guilty Gear. Oki feels non-existent because everyone can just wake up throw if you're off by just a single frame or two, and also because pretty much almost everybody in this game has a reversal, so yeah. And Gatlings are poorly explained through the game because they don't tell you what normals go into what. So I thought at the beginning of learning Guilty Gear that punches and kicks were lights, slash and close slash and far slash were like your medium buttons, right? And then heavy slash and then dust were your heavy buttons. And then I was like, okay, well, let me just try using punch into slash. You can't do that with Mei. The only thing you can do after punch is down punch, and then her forward heavy slash, and then her 3K. That's it. Her punches doesn't go into slashes. Her kicks doesn't go into slash. It's like, huh? And then some moves you can go into those, like can go into slash as a heavy slash, but they're specifically the down versions. And so I'm just sitting here like, what? Like, and then like I said, like the only way Mei gets like real damage is if you hit people with close slash, right? So you have to be in that range to hit them and then hit confirm it. Far slash is the abysmal move. Her kick is really good at long range, which is fine, but her kick, her 3K, doesn't lead into anything unless you Roman cancel, which is already a risk in and of itself because it's punishable. And then, even if you use Dolphin, if you RC Dolphin, since it leaves Mei in the air, you cannot combo off of it. So Mei feels completely incomplete, at least to me, because a lot of things just do not make sense to me. So yeah, those are pretty much like 4 things all in one rant. So let me just recap and then we'll go into the next thing. So Gatlings are poorly explained by the game. They don't tell you what leads into what, and far slash and close slash is a terrible mechanic that is really difficult to deal with. Oki feels non-existent because people can just wake up throw you with like no punishment whatsoever. And the last thing is, actually that's it. Actually, Oki, proximity normals, and then Gatling. So yeah, that's all that stuff. So I still have like 4 more things to talk about, so I don't want to make this video way too long, so let's just go into the next thing. Next thing is the damage in Guilty Gear. So damage in Guilty Gear is pretty much a fucking joke because literally everybody 2 touches off of almost every situation. Mei is probably one of the better examples of this because Mei probably has some of the highest damage in the game, which is pretty I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because like Mei deletes you, but like I said before, like most of her stuff doesn't lead into anything, so her damage feels nerfed most of the time if you don't get the right starters. So it's like Mei's like the most damage dealer if you get the hit, but like if you don't, it's like Mei kind of tickles you. But like literally, like just watch any like tournament or just any like set of Guilty Gear and you'll see what I mean by the damage is way too fucking high, especially since it's a 1v1 game. Like it's freaking maddening, bro. You make one mistake and you literally die. Like that's what this game is. Isn't, and it's not even like with Skullgirls, like where it's a team game. So if your character dies and you just get mixed the fuck out of, most of the time your character will die and then like your next character will come in, and so there's some chance to come back unless you like run solo, at which case it's pretty much game over. But the game balances that out by giving you more health and more attack, you know, to balance out the fact that you're gonna have to be fighting like multiple other people if you run solo. But Guilty Gear is a solo game, like you play one character on the screen, so everyone has everyone has different like defensive stats, so like the health and power they have are different. But like everyone kills everybody in 2 hits. Like Potemkin, like he's probably like the most tankiest character in the game other than Nago. But like Mei literally literally like neuters them. Like if she hits you at a counter hit like standing heavy slash, like somebody's gonna die. Like you just heavy slash and then red RC and then they just die, bro. It's like it's like fun in a way, but like once you get into like the mid tier, like I think I'm pretty like a mid tier player, honestly. Like I'm not that good, but like I understand the game's mechanics, so I think that makes me like a pretty mid tier character, not a character, a player. So it's like once you get to that point, it's kind of like, damn, if I do one thing wrong, I'm going to die. And so like it leaves you like on the edge of your seat, but not for the right reasons, which is another thing I want to talk about. So yeah, damage is way too high, which also leads into the game will punish you for actually trying to be steady and more reactionary. So there's a mechanic in this game where if you dust somebody, you enter like this like fighting state, like where you're like flying through the air and then like you knock them to the ground. So when that sequence is over, you enter a mode called positive state, which basically gives you more meter gain, like for, you know, like your RCs and your super attacks. So that's fine, right? Like dust is kind of reactable. I actually don't know the frames for it. I don't know if it's reactable or not. But like, even if it isn't, if you get hit by dust, it's kind of your fault. So yeah. But also in this game, there's negative, like a negative state. So basically, if you want to like watch your opponent and then see how they like, you know, handle neutral. Like for instance, when I was fighting a Potemkin player the other day, he just kept doing Mega Fist, and like that was just his whole neutral. He just kept doing Mega Fist. So I just kept backdashing and then trying to 6P it to show, yeah, you're not gonna keep doing that to me. And then the game tells me that you're losing meter. The game punishes me for punishing someone for doing something that literally doesn't make any goddamn sense. So then, you know, I try to negate this by running forward, right? So I tried running forward and 6Ping the Mega Fist. By that point, the game had taken 1 full meter away from me. So when I hit the Potemkin player, I had no meter to combo. And so I basically got reset to neutral and I died as a result. Like the game literally punishes you for trying to play reactionary and trying not to get okie doked. Like the game literally says, no, you gotta play. Like you have to play the game. But not realizing that, you know, watching people's mistakes and punishing them is part of playing fighting games. So I don't understand why the game has to punish you for that. Literally, like I'd understand if like it was like an arena fighter, like something like Storm or Xenoverse, where like it's really easy to run away because movement is so good in 3D arena style like games because it's so much more wider. But in like a 2D game like Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball, Skullgirls, all those titles, there's a wall. If you run away, you will hit a wall. So there's only so far you can go until you're out of options. Like for example, when I was fighting that Potemkin player, I literally backdashed so much that I reached the wall. So when he got closer to me with Mega Fist, I had no choice but to interact. But like I said, by that point, the game had taken away my meter. And so when I punished him with 6P, I couldn't combo and kill him. I just got reset to neutral and then he woke up command grabbed me. So it's like the game literally punishes you for actually trying to be reactionary and try to punish people for doing dumb shit. It's like, that's probably like, other than proximity normals, that's probably like the worst thing about the game, honestly. Like, it punishes you. And I don't get why. Like, would characters like Axel like be broken if like negative penalty actually didn't exist? Would he be much worse than he is right now? Because I promise you he wouldn't. Like I said, there's a wall in fighting games for a reason. Like, I don't get it, bro. Like that, honestly, that moment with the Potemkin player is probably like the main reason why I stopped playing Guilty Gear and why I'm making this video, because that legit ruined the rest of my night. Because literally, I was trying my best to outplay Potemkin, because he's probably like one of the hardest characters for me to fight in that game, and for the game to literally say, yeah, no, you have to be in this nigga's face, which is where Potemkin wants you to be. He wants you to be in his face. So the game basically tells me, oh yeah, you have to be in Potemkin's win condition. It's like, huh? Like, and I don't, and like characters that zone in this game, like they don't even feel like zoners, bro. Like Happy Chaos, like he has his gun, but like most players that play Happy Chaos don't even like zone with him. Like they'll stay back and shoot his gun, but like he can run with the gun, so you can just run forward and shoot people and they have to block it. Same thing with pretty much Axel, but like to a lesser extent, because his normals are actually how he zones, so he can actually get counter hit. So like the game literally tells you, yeah, you have to be in your opponent's face 90% of the match. Like there's no turtling in this game, and I get the sentiment, but like if you're like I said, if you're fighting a player where all they do is be hyper aggressive, and the game rewards that as a result, I'm sorry, but I will not support the game, honestly. Even for how Unga Bunga Dragon Ball FighterZ is and how they build their characters, the game doesn't punish you for sitting back and saying, hey, this character is using DP 5,000 times, or this player is using Super Dash plus assist all the time. I'm just gonna sit back, wait for them to do it, and then punish them. The game doesn't punish you for that, because that's part of fighting games. That's how you get better at fighting other different playstyles. Guilty Gear is like, nah, fuck that. Everybody who plays this game is a rushdown monkey, and if you try to turtle or try to punish with reactionary, spacing, it's like, nope, fuck that shit. You get punished for it, and now you can't kill. So it's like, that's probably like the biggest, like, other than proximity normals, like the biggest thing I hate about Guilty Gear, and probably why I probably won't be playing it again on the channel, or just in general. Like that one moment with Potemkin pretty much soiled everything about Guilty Gear. So yeah, I don't like the negative state in this game. Positive state, I rarely use dust, so it's okay, I guess. Some characters build meter less than other characters, so I guess it's fine. But the whole negative meter penalty, bro, no. Save that shit for party games. Leave them out of like fighting games, please. Like even in Dragon Ball FighterZ, for its like negative meter penalty, at least we had 2 years to get used to it. And also, it was kind of pointless because like Gotenks can still loop you because he builds 2 bars. But we're not talking about Dragon Ball, so we're talking about Guilty Gear. So last thing I want to talk about that's universal to pretty much every character in the game. There is one thing I want to talk about Mei specifically, but the last thing I want to talk about is universal, is that instant air dashes feel like crap in this game. Back instant air dash feel fine, if not a little bit slower than I wanted it to be. But forward slash literally kills all momentum in the game. And and the thing is that ground movement in the game feels really bad too, which is why in my videos I'm constantly jumping just to get some form of momentum and movement within this game. Because if you try to fight on the ground, like I said, the negative penalty will start activating if you try like backdashing too much. So me instant air dashing is just trying to get me in some form of movement so I can feel like I'm part of playing the goddamn game. But like, instant air dashing feels so freaking bad, bro. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like technically slower than backdash, or if like different characters have like different air dashes. But like when I'm like instant air dashing with Mei, bro, it feels like I'm playing like a different character, bro. She is so much slower than like when she's using Dolphin or just using her backdash or forward dash. Like she feels so heavy and so like, I don't like the air dashes in the game. It feels horrible to do. which is honestly like a bad thing considering how bad the ground speed is. At least for Mei it is. Like Mei feels so heavy on the ground, so then you jump into the air and then instant air dash is bad too. So it's like, yeah, neutral's not that fun with Mei. Basically what I'm trying to say, neutral's just not fun. So, you know, you have a game where neutral isn't fun to play because the dashes, the movement speed and the air dashes aren't good. Everyone has unga bunga normals, and then proximity normals are a thing, so if you're off by like 2 pixels, you're not getting it. And the game punishes you for trying to be reactionary and punish stupid shit. So Guilty Gear pretty much cancels everything I like doing in fighting games. Like, it's maddening, bro. Like, I really gave this game a chance. I really did. But like, when the game like outrightly says the way you want to play the game is just straight up wrong, it's like, yeah, I don't need this game telling me that. I would just play another game that actually respects different playstyles. Because Guilty Gear is just a game where everyone's a rushdown character and everybody just says unga bunga, big normals, big damage. Like, if you like that type of game, bro, all power to you, but I'm sorry, bro, I just cannot deal with that shit anymore. So, you know, I went on like 2 different spiels in the same video. What the fuck is this? So, alright, so let's get this video over with, because I'm pretty sure I'm like 30 minutes in by this point. So last thing I want to talk about is charge moves. So you guys probably already saw this coming as a Mei player, but I don't like charge moves. Even though I like Mei's playstyle overall, which is why I picked her up, even though she had charge moves. Because I actually had charge move experience through playing Cerebella and Skullgirls. But the thing about Skullgirls is that like the buffer in that game is way bigger than in Guilty Gear. And the main thing about Cerebella and using her charges is the only reason why it's hard is because she has multiple different versions of her charge move. And so doing the micros for the different versions are harder, but not the actual action of charging itself. But in Guilty Gear, it literally feels like the game slows down when you're trying to charge something with Mei. It feels awful. Like in my latest video, I tried using Far Slash and a Dolphin because I was watching, you know, some tutorials of how to play Mei, and that's probably like one of her strongest, you know, things. Like, you do Far Slash and the Dolphin, frame traps, and then if you hit, you RC, and then you start your game plan, right? Yeah, that doesn't work out too much in actual practice, because I tried doing that shit like an entire match. Like, I literally, like, I avoided the person I was playing like the entire match just to see if I can get Far Slash and the Dolphin, and it would not come out no matter what. I think it only came out like once or twice, and in those instances, my Dolphin was so slow that they reactionarily pressed 6P to beat Dolphin. So yeah, charge moves in Guilty Gear feel awful. I don't know if it's the buffer that they use or if it's like the actual like Dolphin move itself that's at fault, but like, yeah, charge moves in Guilty Gear feel like garbage. Like it actually feels really bad to do them. And so like playing Mei, even though she's my favorite character in the game, feels like a goddamn slog, especially when fighting characters with projectiles, because Mei doesn't really have an answer for that. So it's like, you know, half my moveset is pretty much useless against them. So ha ha ha. So yeah, this kind of spiraled out of control, but I hope you guys realize the amount of pain I went through playing this goddamn game for months, trying to see if I could make it work, and it just hasn't like clicked yet. So yeah, that's what I think of Guilty Gear in terms of its cons. There's a lot of them, but I just hope you guys understand the way I feel about, you know, characters and how the game ultimately plays. Like I said, literally every character in the game is just a rushdown character that wants to be in your face and do dumb shit. So yeah, for characters who actually want to play, you know, at a range and then try to punish the person by, you know, by them making mistakes, you can't really do that. because the game will literally actively punish you for that. So good job, Arxis. You actually made a playstyle in fighting games actually fucking useless. So yeah, I'm not a fan of Guilty Gear anymore. This is probably the last time I'm going to be talking about it or playing it on the channel. So I hope you guys enjoy this, because this is probably the last time you guys see me play Guilty Gear, bro. I'm done. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit scattered at this point, because I had so many cons of this game, and I felt like I was on a rush just trying to explain myself. But you know, I hope my point was pretty clear and you guys can understand like my pain at learning this game and trying to figure out how it plays and stuff like that. So if you guys have any advice for me, maybe there's something I just don't understand about the game, maybe there's something I can just work on, and maybe the game will be more enjoyable later on. But as of right now, if it's literally just how the game is and there's really nothing wrong with me specifically, then it's just a fighting game I just cannot play, because it doesn't fit the way I play. So there's no point in playing a game that punishes you for actually wanting to play the way you want to. So Guilty Gear is a really good fighting game. I would not say it's a bad fighting game in the slightest, but in terms of playing it for myself and then trying to figure out how I want to go about it, and then the game actively tells me no, or the game actively gets in my way with proximity normals, or literally I get 2-touched by Potemkin, or 2-touched by Kai or Giovanna, and so any mistake I do literally leads into my death. It's like, yeah, I don't need this. You know, Dragon Ball is already stressful enough with its 2-touch, you know, characters, so I don't need another one. And plus, Skullgirls is literally a 1-touch game, so yeah, I don't need Guilty Gear adding to that stress. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully my points became clear and you guys can understand how I feel. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next discussion video. Sayonara.